Welcome everyone, and thank you all so much for attending NJCPA's Career Night. Come on in. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and introduce our CPA exam review course panelists. So we have Maura Gordon from Becker. We have Janelle Briones Lopez from Roger, and then we have Shirley Claude from Surgent. So they're going to be all answering your questions regarding the CPA exam. So if you have any questions, please ask away. We only have a 30-minute time frame, so we do want to encourage you to ask as many questions that you have about the CPA exam as possible. We do have some questions to kind of go ahead and get started if you don't have any questions. But what I want to do right now is I want to give each of the review courses just a chance to talk a couple minutes, 2 to 3 minutes or so, about your programs and what you offer to our students. So Maura.
Perfect. Do I do it from here or up there?
Yeah, you can start from here.
Okay, cool. So yeah, my name's Maura. I'm the New Jersey account manager for Becker CPA Review. Becker, we've been around for a while now. We're coming up on our 60-year anniversary pretty soon here. You'll start to hear more and more about us as you're going through the recruiting processes. We're partnered with the top 100 firms nationally, so I know it's usually like the review courses are a point of reference that they make when they're going through the recruiting processes. So I guess the coolest thing about our course right now, we recently added what we call Skill Master videos. You know, with talking to students, which is just like the only thing I do all day long, is we learn quickly that, you know, you guys feel pretty good about the multiple choice questions, but it's the simulations that kind of keep you up at night and make you a little bit more nervous. So we added these Skill Master videos, which are just like 8 to 15 minute long clips on each of our simulations. We have like 400 simulations. Right now we have 130 of these clips to help walk you through the simulations. I know a lot of our recent Becker grads are kind of mad at us that we waited this long to do it. So hopefully you guys are all going to be able to take advantage of that. So yeah, I think that's it. Good.
Perfect. Janelle?
Okay, so I'll go next. My name is Janelle Briones Lopez, and I am the Northeast representative for Roger CPA Review. And a little bit about Roger. We haven't been around as long as Becker. We've been around a little over 20 years or so. But our main difference is that we like, our mission is to help you prepare for the CPA exam as quickly as possible and to just give you success in your careers. So a couple things about our review course that definitely stand out. Our lectures are very different, enthusiastic lectures. Our lead instructor, Roger Phillip, he teaches all 4 parts of the CPA exam, teaches in front of a whiteboard, gives it a little bit of a live class feel, except that you're online, so you don't have to worry about attending live classes or you know, whenever you want to study. It's very flexible. All of our lectures are about 30 or so minutes long, so you don't have to worry about like sitting there for 3 or 4 hours like in a regular classroom. You study, you know, you tailor it to your schedule, especially if you start working at your firms. You know you're going to get busy real soon, so you want to definitely get a review course that will give you that flexibility. And so one thing I do want to mention is the latest innovative addition to our review course is our SmartPath predictive technology. So we introduced this back in January, and what SmartPath is, it is our data-driven platform that has taken our students, our successful students' data, and we've created this path for you as our future students to follow to success. So what we do is we give you 2 targets. We give you a target of the score to the score to get, and then to the number of questions for every chapter. So it'll give you an idea of what you should be meeting to be successful, to match just like our previous successful students. And then you can go on through the course with confidence to know you've done all you need to do within that section to move on to the next section. So a lot of our students have, especially the ones that have taken our course prior SmartPath, and then the SmartPath magically appeared into their course once January hit. They've just found themselves oh my God, I wasn't studying enough. This is great, I love it. And actually recently our pass rate went up from 88% to 91% thanks to SmartPath. So that's really exciting. And I'll definitely be glad to talk to you a little bit more about SmartPath if you'd like. But that's really much it. That's the newest thing that we have to offer.
And Shirley?
Hi everybody, I'm with Surgent CPA Review. So the difference between our course and the others is everybody gets the same questions from the AICPA. It's kind of how we package it. It's kind of like Chips Ahoy versus soft batch, right? both chocolate chip cookies, but a little bit different recipe. So what's different with our course is we actually use algorithms. We give you a mini CPA exam to figure out what you don't know, and then we focus you in on exactly what you don't know. We actually have received an award for top product from Accounting Today in 2018 because of these adaptive learning technologies and algorithms that we utilize. Our course does not expire. We have payment plans, and we try and really work with the actual student and take a real personal approach, because our course was founded by an actual accounting professor who still teaches, and 2 of her sons are going to work at Witham, which I know is here hiring folks. So we really try and take a very personal approach, help coach you along, and help you, really succeed in passing the exam. And doing it in the quickest way possible using those algorithms. So it's a little uncomfortable at first because we're out of our comfort zones. We don't like what we don't know, but we do save a lot of time and make it a very efficient, kind of interesting learning process. And you get your ready score. You know exactly after you do your first assessment where you stand if you wanted to sit for the exam tomorrow.
Okay, perfect. Thank you all so much. So now we're going to go ahead and open it up to our student questions. If you do have any questions individually, they do have tables next door in the firm room, so you can go ahead and catch up with them at the end. But we are going to go ahead and open up the floor to any student questions. Don't be shy. What kind of questions do you have regarding the CPA exam?
We don't attack, don't worry.
I'll go ahead and I'll get you started. Oh, go ahead.
Would you offer any student discount for the NJCPA student members?
Yeah, we all do.
Mm-hmm. Everyone does, yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so PC's question was, do you offer any discounts for any NJCPA student members? So yes, and yes, the answer is yes, they all offer a discount of some sort.
And actually, just to add to that, we all are always looking for student ambassadors or someone to spread the word on campus, and a lot of times that's a great way for you to gain exposure to the CPA exam and earn a free CPA review course. And it's usually not very hard to do. As long as you can communicate with your peers and accounting students and help us all get involved on campus or support us at events like this, you're eligible, so it's good to talk to everybody.
Yes.
Any other questions?
Seems like the only one offering live classes is Becker's out of opening.
That's a great question.
Yes.
So the question was who offers live classes, and I'll go ahead and let you answer more.
Yeah, we do have live classes. To be completely honest, we have fewer and fewer of them that are open now, just because not a lot of students are as interested in the live classes, but we do still have them. And actually what we're starting to do too is some live in-house programs at firms. So, I mean, it's definitely a good question to ask your firms as you're going through like your interview process and recruiting processes about how do they help you out with the CPA exam. I know we have direct bills set up with the majority of them, so whether they paid in full or pay for part of it, if they do any of the live in-house programs, or, there's other features to it too. But yeah, we do still have some live classes. That was like the long answer.
Like a list, go into your website and find out which one.
Yeah, if you go to Becker.com, there's like a live section and you put in the zip code, and then you can match up like months with your zip code to find whatever is like closest to you at that time, and it'll break it down by the 4 sections too.
I'm actually asking for the employers that are partnering with you guys. Or for
Yeah, I think come to the table afterwards and I'll talk to you about it.
Yes, go ahead.
How much different is the CPA exam itself compared to your average accounting curriculum at the university?
That's a really good question.
I'll let you guys answer that one.
I'll take a shot at it. So the exam itself it's specific. There's some specific topics that you may or may not cover in your classes. So for example, there are 4 parts of the exam. There's FAR, Audit, Reg, and BEC. In your FAR exam, you'll cover a lot of information that you'll get in your Intermediate 1, Intermediate 2, Advanced Accounting, Governmental Accounting. Not everything in your governmental accounting class will appear on the FAR exam, but there will be some governmental accounting on there. Same goes for information, so like just general information you'll learn in your Intermediate 1, 2, and Advanced Accounting courses. What we do with our courses is to really focus you in on the topics that will most likely be tested on the CPA exam, because at the end of the day, the ICPA can do whatever they want. They can test whatever they want, but most likely will be these topics. So for your audit exam will be all your auditing courses, reg or your tax courses, and then for BEC would be your cost courses or managerial accounting. So that's where they would, it wouldn't be like every course that you take on accounting in your school will be covered on the CPA exam. It's a very focused exam. I hope that answered your
Yeah, no,
question.
it does.
Okay, good.
And I can kind of add on to that too. So there's a group of CPA review providers. We have a board. We meet a couple times a year, and I've definitely sat in on the meetings with the AICPA. And what's very interesting about that is that we hear about everything they're going to be adding to the exam. So we all have board members that attend this, but I can tell you firsthand, they are always adding content to it. And one of the biggest struggles for your professors is, there's two things. First struggle is you have professors that are like, oh, we're going to skip over that, but it might still be on the CPA exam. Conversely, they may be working off textbooks that you paid $350 for, and then the laws change, or something changes, or the way they do something changes. And so oftentimes what you're learning in your curriculum may not be what's going to be tested on the exam, because the textbooks can tend to be behind. So
Perfect example.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. No, you're fine, you're fine.
Perfect example is the reg exam.
Yeah.
That's going to change in 2019. So a lot of you may have already taken tax, which covered the old tax law
Mhm.
prior to December 2017. Now anyone's taking the regulation exam starting January 1st, 2019. It's going to be the new tax or the current tax law. That's going to be on the exam going forward. So that's a really great example.
They don't really say, okay, we're going to stop testing on this, but what they do is they kind of pare back what they're testing on. But for example, we know that they're going to be adding cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin, stuff like that to BEC, probably the first quarter of 2019-ish, 2020. Usually what they do is they will, the AICPA will pre-test the questions first to see how you all perform on them. You don't get a little flag when you're taking the exam, though, that says, hey, this is a pre-tested question. They just kind of throw it out there, because one of the ways you have to think about it is everybody is taking the same CPA exam, whether you went to University of Wisconsin or whether you go to Rutgers. So there has to be some kind of level playing field when it comes to curriculum or CPA review providers, that we can all kind of, across the board answer the questions that the AICPA is looking for. But generally the curriculum could be different. And then also, quite frankly, we've all worked with enough of the professors to know that some of them are like, no, I don't teach the exam. I'm teaching principles and fundamentals.
Yep.
That they're on their own for that. So sometimes there's a decent overlap. Sometimes they go way too far into the depth of the history of an accounting principle or an idea, and it may not be relevant to the exam. So it is very challenging if you are a super smart person who's like, I can do this on my own. It's sometimes really hard to do. Because you don't really know the breadth and depth of what the questions are. They did say in the last meeting we had with the AICPA, which was about 2 weeks ago, that they are looking to make sure that the blueprints that they have are much more readily available for you all, so you can kind of line up what you're learning to what they're expecting to have on the exam and future iterations of the exam. So the AICPA would be very happy for us to tell you that you should refer to the blueprints first and then talk to your CPA review providers.
Any other questions?
Actually, I guess just to add on to, now isn't there a time frame to complete all 4 exams?
Yes. You need to pass all 4 parts of the CPA exam within an 18-month window.
Okay, so and is that because of all like the changing rules and regulations just being up to date, or?
There's a lot of reasons.
Yeah.
There's a lot of reasons. I think it's just kind of giving you that sense of urgency. Wouldn't you say that, Maura?
Yeah, I would agree with that too, yeah. I mean, you guys have it better off. I don't know if you know, but not that long ago, they had to do all 4 parts in one weekend.
Yeah.
So the 18 months doesn't sound nearly as bad when you hear it that way, so.
And they're talking about possibly opening up rolling windows. Right
Yeah.
now, there's 4 blackout months. The third month of every quarter is blackout month for them to kind of retool, recalculate, look at those pretest questions. They're talking about doing away with that. I haven't heard anything else as of my meeting a couple weeks ago, but that would really help. The thing is, I think the way that the industry is changing right now, CPA's roles are kind of changing as well, and we're hearing about that with technology and whatnot. And one of the things that's coming up is the fact that, they want to make it more easily accessible to become a CPA now. Over the years, it's always been about a 50% pass rate for the exam, and so they want to really set you all up more for success and make it a little bit more possible and make sure that we have plenty of CPAs out there to fulfill the needs of the clients, especially with all the baby boomers retiring. Kind of a roundabout answer to your
sounds
question.
great.
Yeah, not
So
bad,
everybody
right?
become a CPA so you can satisfy all the clients out there that need you.
I'm motivated now. Quick question, do you guys, I'm pretty sure you guys offer like a practice exam for every section before, just kind of like assess your
Yeah, I think we all kind of have something, like, so I think they're all like similar but a little bit different. Like ours, we have a pre-assessment before each chapter where you can take it and say, hopefully you do really well, and you're like, all right, I can kind of skip through the lectures and go straight to the skill practice, or, okay, I really, really didn't do well. I should definitely pay attention to these lectures here.
Yeah.
But I think more importantly, to me anyway, is the mock exams that come afterwards.
Mhm.
So for example, we have 3 mock exams per part. And, you might not believe me right now, but you're going to like that you have these mock exams, It's
Yeah.
nice, because the first one, we tell students, just take this mock exam, you just finished up everything, see what happens. And after that, you're going to get your score back, and it's going to tell you, okay, like you nailed it here, you did amazing here, you did okay, and you kind of struggled over here. So we want you to focus on the areas where you struggled, whether you're taking our final review or watching the lectures again, doing the homework again. Then take the second mock exam. And this one, we tell you, take it more seriously, right? Like, not sitting on the couch, don't have snacks and the TV on. Like, actually sit and take this exam and see how you do. Hopefully the score goes up. Again, tighten up the screws where you kind of struggled a little bit. By the third one, you're going to feel good walking in on exam day. So, yeah, there's the pre-assessments beforehand and then the mock exams afterwards. And if you guys are different, you could say yours, but that's... Sure.
Yeah, we do that. We do an assessment that's pretty robust to give you an idea, and it's weighted exactly to what the psychometricians weigh the questions for the exam. So you get a really good idea of what you know and what you don't know. So really good for outcomes as well and see your progress. But we all do, the exam, the practice exams, and they're very, very close to what the actual exam looks like so that you can. And I really love Maura's point about putting aside the snacks, putting aside, take it very seriously, because that's one of the biggest challenges is time management. And, we're in this society now where everything's instant gratification and I want this video in 20 minutes or
More
less.
distraction.
But then you have to sit for a 4-hour exam with no snacks and it's like,
Mhm.
what do I do,
It's life-changing.
I mean, you have a break in there. I know, I'm a very snack-driven person, so Maura got me on that. But no, then you have this 4-hour exam where you have to be disciplined and you have to get through it. And one of the things we meet about and talk about is the fact that people do run out of time on the exam.
Mhm.
So I'll poll the audience. How many of you, which section do you think people tend to run out of time the most on? Yes, good job. Yep. So financial, for the folks in the back that didn't hear, financial is the section that most people tend to run out of time on. So in addition to just knowing the information, it is a lot about time management.
Any other audience questions? Yes.
Yeah, so after the semester in December, I'm going to have 152 credits. I won't graduate till May. I think it's 3 more credits after that to finish the program. But after I get the 152, I can send in an application for the CPA.
It
Take the
dep-
exam.
It
Depends.
yeah.
I'm confused. How do you have, you're going to have 152 but not have your bachelor's degree yet?
No, I'm sorry. So
Okay.
I'm getting a graduate degree. I'll be graduating in May.
So you have your bachelor's.
Yeah, I have my bachelor's.
So actually, if you're planning to get licensed in New Jersey, you can actually send your application in now as long as you have the core courses, which are financial accounting, audit, tax, and cost or managerial under your belt. You can actually start studying for the exam now because you can sit with a bachelor's degree. To get licensed, you need the 150 credits.
Right, but also to sit down for the CPA
Mhm.
Right.
Yes.
That's what I don't have.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, then
Okay,
you.
So no, you
yeah.
have to wait for that then.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a little different in every state.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But
Sure.
The experience counts too, right? If you have the experience.
It's not in replacement of the bachelor's degree in hand. You have to have the bachelor's degree in hand. You have to have the 24 in Jersey.
Well, that I know. I'm saying for the.
Yeah, the
licensing,
experience
this
comes
portion
after.
of
The
it.
experience is to actually become certified, not to sit for the
Become-
exam.
yeah,
You don't need
Right.
the experience till to get certified. Yep,
Right.
you're right.
Any other questions? Yes.
How much the percentage of to pass the exam by your materials?
My favorite question.
What-
You want
what's
to
our-
know pass rates, I'm guessing? That's what you're saying?
Yeah.
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 Mhm.
A lot of people, they gonna buy it, but
Mhm.
not all of them, they gonna pass the exam.
That's
Of
true.
course, yeah. Very much so.
Right.
So I have like our Becker answer if that's what you want, but we've tried hiring outside consultants to find out our pass rates. We've tried everything. And the pass rates for us, they're just not a static number. I mean, if you look at the pass rates of the CPA exam, they're similar, but they change quarter by quarter. So it's just hard for us to come up with a static number for you guys for us to put on there. What we do have you guys ever heard of the Watt-Sells Award? It's outrageous. It's completely unnecessary. But so you guys know you need a 75 on each part to pass the CPA exam, right? And like no one's ever going to ask your number. They just want to know if you passed or not. So a Watt-Sells Awards is someone who gets 95.5% or better on all 4 parts on their first try. Like I said, it's completely unnecessary, but that's easier for us to track. And 90% of the people who win the Watt-Sells Award studied with us, so that's what we use as like our pass rate number.
90%.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's only like 50 of them that win every year, so it's pretty easy for us to track that number. So, say that again.
This is very good. 90% is very high.
Yeah. I know. I think it's cool. Most people are pretty unimpressed by it, but.
To answer your question, but Maura's right. We can't really like get somebody individual like outside source to give us our pass rate. So all our pass rates are self-reported. So our previous pass rate was 88%. Now we have 91% ever since we introduced SmartPath. So our SmartPath students are self-reporting that they are passing at a 91% rate. So that's what I can tell you about our pass rate.
Yeah, the issue there really is the self-reporting, because what happens is you guys pass and then you go out and party and you get your certification and you forget about us. You kind of leave us hanging. We feel like a desperate chick, you know? So, no, but to be fair, so with our course, we've been able to track that if you score in our software 75 or better, you have about a 90% chance of passing. If you get your ready score up to 85, 100% of our students are passing. So what the bottom line is, you're going to have to study with all of us, and you have to put in the hours. And the most important thing I can tell you right now is that if you're the person sitting out there that doesn't study right now, and you've never cracked open your textbook, and you get straight A's, this exam is going to send you into a tailspin because you're going to actually have to learn how to study. And usually, because I know a lot of us have been doing this for a while, I've been working for CPA review providers for 10 years, it's the people that come to me that are straight A students that got offers from all of the big 4 that have the hardest time passing the exam. And it's the students that are struggling to get B's and A's that do pretty well because you guys are used to really studying. So you can't take this as a joke. You're going to have to put forth a lot of time to study, but it's going to, really be advantageous. It's going to benefit you immensely. And just the studying process itself is going to help you as an accountant, because remember, this exam is to test you as far as if you're a second level associate. So the reason why the exam had changed in 2017 is the firms had come in and said to the AICPA, these people don't know how to answer task-based simulations, kind of like what Maura was saying, So case studies, your clients aren't going to come to you and give you multiple choice options. They're going to say, hey, here's a case study. Here's all my documents and papers. There's probably a receipt in there from 1998. Just go through everything and make sure I don't go to jail or get in trouble. And that's really what you want to do. And so the hard part for a lot of you all right now is the fact that a lot of your professors are using PowerPoint. You're answering multiple choice questions. and you're not getting enough case studies. So that's really, again, where it's really important to find a good course, because you want to make sure you're not discounting, because now that the exam's changed, it's 50% multiple choice and task-based simulations. You really want to make sure you're focusing on those case studies and those task-based simulations. And I would even say it's okay to go to some of your professors and say, hey, can we get more case studies? Because that's what clients bring to you, is case studies. And maybe they can kind of help, if you're a TA or something like that, help turn the tide. But that's really what you guys need to focus on, is being able to analyze and evaluate and work on those case studies, and not just be able to regurgitate multiple choice questions.
We have less than 5 minutes left. Does anyone else have any last minute questions? What about you right over here?
Yeah, I'm a bit confused. Like, after succeeding in the CPA exam, what is the process toward getting certified?
Sure. So, I mean, it's another one that varies state by state, but if we're talking about New Jersey, students go about the qualifications in two different ways. Some people get to the 120, get their bachelor's degree, have their 24 in accounting and business, and they take the CPA exam then. And then afterwards, they get their experience, they do, any of like the ethics materials they need to do, and they get the 30 additional credits that way.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, what's, kind of crazy to people in New Jersey is you could get those 30 additional credits in anything. Then the other way people do it is, depending on a lot of times what school you go to or what your life plan is, they'll either do like a 5th year at their school, or double major and graduate with 150, or I talked to a couple people tonight who are doing like a community college to make up the credits. So some people get to the 150 first, then they take the CPA exam, and then they get their work experience. So there's no set way to do it. It's whatever works best for your life, the way that you're learning, and what you want to do as far as schooling goes.
Okay, so how about that experiment? Let's say I'm about to get my 150 credits.
Good.
For MS accounting. So what would I need after succeeding, obviously, the CPA exam? What would I need to get certified?
Yeah, so you need the work experience. So, and that's easy enough. That's just once you start working, you just need a CPA to sign off on your work hours for you.
Okay.
So that part's, it's really the exam that's the hard part. You can get the experience.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And usually how many work hours do you do?
Oh, I don't know what it breaks down to hours-wise, but,
Like 1,750 hours,
okay.
the equivalent of 1,750. It sounds like a lot of hours. So try to look at it as 1 year, not 1,750 hours.
Yeah.
So we're just about out of time, but if you have any last minute questions for the panelists, they will be, like I mentioned before, they will be in the other room, so make sure that you stop by their tables and get all your questions answered. We are going to have another panel with our CPA exam review courses from 6 to 6:30, so if you want to stop by again during that time, but from 5 to 5:30, we're going to have Rachel Anevsky back in this room with her company Matters of Management to help develop your elevator pitch. So if you are interested in that, make sure that you stick around. But thank you guys so much for attending.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.